song Unbreakable by Alicia Keys, right? There's a verse in the song that goes, see, we could act out like Will and Jada, or like Kamara and Russell making paper, all in the family like the Jacksons, and have enough kids to make a band like with Joe and Catherine. Yeah. Yo.
Two bad examples, by the way.
This lyric did not age well. Let me just show. It did not age well because Will and Jada, they broke. Look. See right here? Right there. Oh my gosh. See, we could act out like Will and Jada. They don't act that out. So, Sabs, first thing I want to do is I want to ask you this question from somebody in the Black community. What in your mind did Will Smith and Jada Pinkett mean to you and the Black people around you?
Well, I mean, I think you looked at people like Will and Jada, and they've been married for such a long time, right? So you're like, wow, that's an unbreakable bond. You know, no matter what happened, you know, in the US, we knew that Will and Jada would be together. We knew that they would make it, right? So a lot of people kind of looked up to them as like a good example of what a marriage should be like or what love should be like, et cetera. Maybe not a lot of people, but some people did kind of reference them when they talked about like a long marriage, or when people talked about like Black love, people would point towards like Will and Jada. I mean, they've been together for over 20 years, right? Now, that being said, you know, for a lot of people who don't know, like my family is from Baltimore. I was born in Baltimore, lived there for a little bit, didn't really grow up in Baltimore. But Jada Pinkett Smith and Tupac are both from Baltimore, Maryland. Both of them went to the Baltimore School of Performing Arts. So they knew each other way back when. And every now and then when people would bring up the Will and Jada like marriage, there's always that question about like, you know, Tupac. Because, you know, at one point, Jada admitted that she had this type of bond with Tupac. And now Jada Pinkett has written a book. And some things have been revealed that are giving people pause. And that's what we're going to talk about today.
Stop. Wait a minute. Put my cup, put some liquor in it. Look, I'm gonna tell you guys this, and I had to write this down, because when it comes to Will and Jada, in regards to the Black community, Will and Jada were symbols of Black love. Right? It was what we aspired to be, and it was even recorded in music. Like, how many people talked about Will and Jada? And so it was basically like, that's who it's almost like Will and Jada were like the younger version of the Heathcliff and Claire Huxtable, right?
Right. Although that didn't age well either.
No. And it's just, yeah, Sebs, yeah. But so that's how it was, especially for the Black community, right? So there was this whole thing, and I'm gonna remind you, Sebs, about these rumors that were under the current about Will and Jada, about their marriage not being very monogamous, right? That was a whole thing that was, you know, put out there, that they had to dispel rumors of, because everybody was always like, oh my God, their marriage is on shaky ground because they're in an open marriage and blah, 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 whatever.
Right.
But then the entanglement happened. And look, all I got to say is one word: entanglement. And then everybody, especially Black men, they feel some kind of way when it comes to, especially when it comes to Jada.
Because she started this show, and I believe the show was at first streamed on Facebook. She started this show called The Red Table Talk.
I watched it all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think like in the beginning, she was bringing on guests and they were talking about their struggles, right? Like some celebrity people that you might be familiar with. She would bring on other guests to talk about their struggles. As time went on, she started to talk about her own struggles. And then it got to the point where Will Smith was the guest on the show. And that's when the whole entanglement thing came out. Yeah. So essentially, for those who are not aware, Jada Pinkett revealed that she basically fell in love with another guy who, from what I understand, wasn't he friends with one of her kids?
August Alsina. And he was friends with her son, Jaden.
There you go. And it's not like, and one thing I do just want to add, because number one, like, I don't, approve of cheating. Like, I'm a monogamous person myself. But what was weird about that entire discussion is that I think what some people may not have taken from it is that it's not just about cheating. It's about the fact that she fell in love with this guy. And that's a whole other level because now it's emotional. So,
yeah. And then even Will Smith with his eyes in tears became a meme.
Yeah.
So let's go to, I can't believe I just did that. Let me go straight to.
Well, let me tell them what happened. What happened before you play the video. So Jada just recently wrote a book.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently some of the things she's promoting the book, she's doing different interviews. There's supposed to be an even longer, I think, interview premiering tomorrow, if I remember correctly. Mm-hmm. But there were some things that were revealed in snippets of this interview that she's doing with the Today Show that really gave a lot of people pause. So I'll just start it that way.
Yeah. So let me go to this video really quick. This saddens me. All right, let me share. Sorry, I took it down for some reason, and I was trying to make sure that my connection was smooth. Anyway.
We are back 8:14 with Carson and Hoda's exclusive interview with Jada Pinkett Smith, and everyone's going to be talking about this.
Yeah, she is one half of Hollywood's most powerful couple. She's at the center of constant gossip and controversy, including that slap at the Oscars. She was sitting right next to Will Smith. And when we met up with Jada in her hometown of Baltimore,
pause?
About her
I'm so sorry to pause it so early. It's just that part when she said she's constantly at the center of controversy. She's at the center of controversy because she puts herself there.
Keep my wife's name out your mouth.
Sorry, just had to say that. Like, she puts herself at the center of controversy. It started with that Red Table show. But go ahead, JB. Sorry.
All right. Let's continue.
Her hometown of Baltimore to talk about her candid new memoir, Worthy. She opened up about an issue that has been kept secret until now.
First of all, can we stop calling it an entanglement? You cheated. You were having an affair. Just call it what it is. Why are we using these different words to make it seem like it was something that it wasn't? You were having an affair with another man. Stop the entangled thing.
Yeah, she was bumping uglies with a guy in his mid-20s.
Exactly. So that's so there's that. And then the other part where she said that we needed time to figure out, where we were or whatever. 7 years? Like, what does that have to do with you pretending to be together as a couple? And why am I bringing this up? Because this leads into the slap, which I can show that video later, JB, but this leads into the incident of the slap, which she also talks about in this interview. And we all remember that Will Smith said what? Keep my wife's name out your mouth. And she was not his wife. That was the thing. And that's another thing that she brings up, is that the reason why she rolled her eyes is because he hadn't called her that, and because they weren't together. See, this is all coming out now, guys. It's all coming out.
So what was the slap all about? Like, bruh, he got the balls to get up in front of millions of people and slap Chris Rock across the face for a wife that's not even his anymore. The hell? I'm done. Are you kidding me? Bruh, he basically got mad over a woman that wasn't even his no more.
Why do I get the impression that he's more in love with her than she is with him? I've always had that feeling. No, I've always had that feeling.
Yo, you're like the 15,000th person I heard hear that.
You know?
I may have to take this jacket off because it's getting hot in here. Yup, you better sip some of that water because this is spicy. Oh my God, that is a look of guilt. And you notice when them questions were coming in, you seen them veins popping out in her forehead? I saw them. She is stressed. Hang on. I know you had something to say too. Go ahead, Saps.
I wonder why. What's at stake?
Paparazzi. Because guess what? They are always up looking at the legal proceedings and court papers. And if this happens, even if it's quietly, oh my God, bombshell, Will Smith and Jada Pinkett, they cut ties. Here's the court papers of them divorcing. That's what would happen.
Money.
Sorry, go ahead.
Money. Same reason why Oprah didn't marry Stedman, JB. Money.
All right. Sabs, you get the last word. All right.
But you still live separately.
We live separately.
I have so many questions.
So do I.
I have so many
It
questions.
was the strangest.
So we could, yeah.
It was the strangest kind of revelation to realize that these two people have had separate lives. I mean, they have not called each other husband and wife in all of those years.
Except for the appearance everywhere they went.
Except for the appearances, right? Including at the Oscars.
Yes.
By the way, there's a whole chunk in this book that we're going to get into in the Dateline special and also a little later here of what happened in that moment when he said, get my wife's name out of your mouth, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
There's a whole backstory there too. But Jada is candid and honest in this book. I mean, she's saying things that she's never said. So they've kind of been living this pretend life publicly.
For years.
They knew the secret. They know it.
So now she's telling everyone.
Yeah.
But they're not divorced.
Nope.
So they're separated.
And they don't plan on it. They don't plan on getting divorced.
I think a lot of American families can relate, though. I think there's a lot more distance between husbands and wives than anybody ever really talks about.
Yeah.
But this sounds like something.
Yeah, that's
No. I'm sorry, Carson, but no, the average American family can't relate to this.
Rich people problems.
I know, right? Like what? And it's not to say that, spouses do not split up, do not have divorce, not have separation. This is a totally different thing. I want to get into the slap video, what she said about that. So I want to share this because she finally does address you guys.
Well, Sabs, let me ask this question before we continue. Don't close to 50% of divorce marriages end in divorce because of money?
Yes.
Because they can't afford it, right? Because of money. Will and Jada don't have that problem. They're set financially. So their divorce is more on just personalities, differences, histories, things like that. So to me, it feels like their divorce is more, I don't know. It's kind of like on more, it's on grounds that is not based on material conditions.
Mm.
Go ahead.
Let's get into the slap because I told you guys. I told you. She finally addresses this. I want you to hear what she says about the slap.
On Oscar night 2022, Will Smith slapped Chris Rock after Chris made a crack about Jada's hair.
I could tell it bothered you.
Pisha.
Will then went on a profane tirade warning Chris not to mention his wife's name. Jada couldn't believe what she was hearing.
What is going on? Now, first of all, I'm really shocked because, mind you, I'm not there. We haven't called each other husband and wife in a long time.
Pause, JB. Now, do you see this? This is why she was shocked. This is why she was like, even before the slap, when he said, keep my wife's name out your mouth, this is why she had that look on her face.
And he slapped a man over it in front of millions of people. All this could have been avoided if they were just honest and said, hey, things didn't work out, we're getting a divorce. And it would have been in the news for a couple weeks. Would have been big news for a couple weeks, and it would have been over. But because they held out, and then now they have this reveal, now it's going to go on and on and on. And unfortunately, the only person that's going to come out looking at least somewhat clean is going to be Will, because Jada is going to get dragged through the mud because, number one, the entanglement, and then on top of that, she did a tell-all book, which also looks kind of money grabby. Because Will ain't coming out with no book. I didn't see no Fresh Prince book.
Let me continue.
And hit Chris.
This goes back to what you were just saying, JB.
Yeah. And my thing is the eye roll, like, to be honest with you, I don't think Jada should be blamed for that.
For the slap? No, that was all him.
Yeah. So why are they blaming her? Like, let's be real. Like, if she does something wrong, okay, go after that. But her rolling her eyes at a joke? Like, why blame her for that? Like, this is the problem with some, especially, I'm sorry, but some dudes, they will try to blame Jada for everything, and I'm like, no. She has enough dirt on her that you can blame her for the stuff that she does do, but don't blame her for stuff that she didn't do. You know what I'm saying? Like, Jada rolling her eyes is a nothing burger. And I'm sorry, but some black men, they be like, oh my God, she rolled her eyes, and that's the reason why that made Will mad, and Will got mad, and then that's what he slapped and it made us black people look like fools. No. Will went up there on his own volition and did that BS. It was not because of Jada. It was a joke. Will took it. He went from 0 to 105.6 seconds and then slapped another man on stage. All because she rolled her eyes, because he got all in his feelings. So we're not going to blame Jada for that one.
Right. Zombie in the Air said this show covers less serious stories. Yeah. So for newbies in the chat that are not familiar with the JB and Sabby show, we don't cover like heavy, like we usually don't do political much on this show. We try to do something a little bit more pop culture, just FYI.
Yeah.
All right. Let me continue.
Poor Will. That's what the narrative became.
Yeah.
She says that's because 2 years earlier, Jada discussed what she called an entanglement on her show. So that was from her point of view, and she says that there was bad blood between Chris Rock and Will from before. But she said she actually thought it was like a bit because she said she watched them storm up, and Will had been up and down throughout the Oscars, and then no one asked him to leave. No one said you've got.
I feel like I don't understand it at all. I still don't. They hadn't been together for 7 years at that point. Right?
Yep.
Or whatever, 6, 7 years. And then she's shocked because he's like, don't talk about my wife that way. And she's like,
well, because she was, well, he invited her because he thought this was his crowning moment in Hollywood, and he wanted her there, even though they weren't together.
Yeah, she was a part of his rise.
So and then for him to say, my wife, I think that surprised her. And then it was a ripple effect.
But none of that matters when it triggers violence. I mean, at the end of the day, like Will hit Chris. That's
how many shows does Carson Daly gonna do? This guy went from TRL, remember like MTV TRL, Total Request Live. Like he went from that to being a VJ, they used to call them. But like every time I turn around, Carson Daly has a new talk show gig.
Yeah.
And I can go ahead and stop it there, but I want to show this really quick, because another thing that people have been hinting towards, and this will make people laugh, I think. Grunge Lizard. You know
she
what?
Activated his microchip.
This right here, I think, makes people laugh, because this is a picture.
No!
This is what? Somebody made this. This was Tupac's All Eyes on Me, and somebody took and put Jada's face on Tupac's body because there was
one of the oh my gosh, this is my first time seeing this.
People need to laugh. So
no.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. And the reason is because one of the other things that comes up is about her relationship with Tupac. And she said something along the lines of, I guess Tupac was the best, most passionate, most,
Oh, so they all right, let me take this jacket off.
That's what she's saying. That's what she's saying.
Damn.
That's what she's saying. So,
well.
Yeah, she said that. And it's like, it's one of those things I feel like, obviously they're saying that like her and Will are trying to, work on things now. And I guess the slap incident that happened actually brought them closer together. So maybe Will was doing that because that was his last ditch effort or something like that to try to really get her back. But the thing is that it's kind of one of those things that you don't say. It's like, obviously, like especially if you're trying to make things work or whatever, like don't bring up like your past sexual relationships, especially with someone who's no longer here. Right. So we know about Tupac. So I think the thing is, and then another thing that she revealed too, is that she revealed that Tupac had alopecia, but this is what she's saying. So just keep this in mind, everybody. He's not here to defend himself, but she said that he had alopecia, and that was something that he was really, I guess, uncomfortable with. And so that was another thing I said, well, if you knew that he was uncomfortable with it, why are you telling everyone? Because he's not here to defend himself. That's the thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, she had a lot to say about Tupac. So it's I told you, I always got this feeling like that Will loved her more than she loved him. This is always the impression I got.
You know what? Honestly, this kind of makes me hurt for Will, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because it makes Will Smith look like the second choice.
Right.
It's like, yeah, you weren't my first choice. Tupac was my first choice. You were the second.
Right.
And it's just like how does that? got to feel from the person you were married to for years too. Like, you know, and you got to remember, Will left his wife for Jada. He left Cherie for Jada.
Did he leave her for Jada, or were they already broken up and then he met? Because I know he meet Jada because she was on an episode of Fresh Prince or something.
Yeah, but the thing is that he was feeling her, and from Will, was that his wife knew at the time, Cherie knew that he was feeling Jada really hard, and basically, yeah, in a sense, he did like leave his first wife for Jada, because he really was he was head over heels for Jada.
Okay.
So allegedly, I'll put that there. But my thing is that, like, dude, like, the woman that you fell head over heels for, she had more feelings for a different guy.
Well, not only that too, but another thing. Now, this came up on the Breakfast Club, so I can't play it on here because Breakfast Club has copyright, you guys. Gotcha. But there's a Breakfast Club episode that was uploaded 6 days ago where it says that Jada Pinkett says that Tupac proposed to her while he was locked up.
For real?
That's what it said on the Breakfast Club.
Mm. And why didn't she marry him? Because, well, okay, so Will and Jada were probably dating like the last year before Tupac died. So she probably, couldn't, but at the time, because when Tupac was in jail, that was what, 94, 95?
I think so. And then the other thing too is that don't forget Tupac was also engaged to one of Quincy Jones' daughters when he was killed.
What? I didn't know that.
Kadada? I think it's Kidada. I think it was her, but he was engaged to one of Quincy Jones' daughters when he was killed.
Okay. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So really, to be honest with you, Tupac was the one. He was the one that essentially got away, and then he passed. For Jada.
Yep. Kadada Jones.
Kadada. Okay. Oh my gosh.
So there is that. Now you guys can watch that Breakfast Club interview. I just can't play it on here, but if you search Jada Tupac interview, it's like the second one that shows up, and it says Jada Pinkett says Tupac proposed to her. So,
ooh, wow. My thing is, I'm still on the fact that they hit it for 7 years, dude. Like,
but why? Like, that's the part that I can't understand. Like, why do you need to pretend like you're with someone if you're not together?
It's like the popper. Like, are you guys afraid of the tabloids being like that on you that much? Because honestly, it would have I think the hoopla over them divorcing would have lasted for about a month at the most.
Well, I think also too that like it's the acting part. So if everybody thinks you're still together, obviously if you're coming to these events, you're probably showing up together, getting out of the same limo or something, right? Like, why go to all of that? Like, why go to such lengths to pretend? That's the part I think that's with the pretending. Like,
do they really care that much what other people think?
I don't know. We'll have to wait and see when that full interview is released Friday, because I would hope the interviewer did ask why pretend? Nobody's saying you guys got to stay together, but why are you pretending in front of people, like in public? Why are you pretending?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Man. So that happened. I'm kind of like.
Greg Bruce said Quincy Jones produced Fresh Prince, so he is the Conklin maybe common denominator between all these people. That's a good point.
Yeah.
They're all connected.
Yeah. Common denominator. Ooh.
Meteor Dream said they pretended because it's showbiz. Boo.
They're both really good actors because they at least fooled me for 7 years.
I think we got super chats to go to if you want to do those. Gotcha.
So I know now what Roger Meadows was talking about. Thanks, Roger. Gamer for Life says that Red Table Talk is pure crap. Damn. I actually enjoyed it when at the time. Just me, I guess. Tiberius says, hola, comrades, Sabby and JB. Let's go with the great stream. Will and Jada are a hot mess. They need Jesus. Emoji says, feel sorry that Tupac had to be dragged into this drama. Feel bad. Donnie Nunn says, guys, talking about Will and Jada, we need a conversation about divorce court and family court corruption. Check out the documentary Divorce Corp. Look up lead attorney, retired divorce lawyer. Wow. That's interesting.
I have to look into that.
Mm-hmm. Zombie in the Air says, so he slapped someone not his wife. Yup. Michaela says, if Will fakes his death, we will know exactly what. Damn, Michaela. Damn. Gamaro says, I think Will should address his bisexuality as well. I mean, that's really nobody's business. If he is, then okay. If he isn't, all right.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard those rumors too, but I mean,
yeah. I mean, if he is, all right. If he isn't, all right. But he don't even need to address anything like that. That's his business. Anyway, Roger Meadow says, my bad. I thought I DM'd that to you too. No, you didn't DM it, but
maybe he means me. I haven't checked my DMs.
I think talking about the Jada on Tupac's body. Yeah.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Damn, Leroy. Convinced that Tupac faked his death to get away from oh, gosh. Damn, Leroy.
You know what?
Kill you, Grigors. I thought Will and Jada had an open marriage. That's what a lot of people wondered. A lot of people assumed too. Probably not. Savvy Bite says, sorry, but it probably wouldn't have never worked out with Tupac either. Who knows?
I don't know. From what I've seen from Jada, like at least watching the Red Table Talk, it seems like she has a lot of needs. It doesn't seem like she's the easiest person to please. That's the impression I got.
I'm not tackling that one, but yikes.